station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Houston, the station, we're ready for the event.
Houston, ACR, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Station, this is Houston, ACR. How do you hear me?
Station has you loud and clear.
Please stand by for opening remarks.
Hello from Houston MSTC High School here in Houston, Texas. I'm Dr. Diego Linares. I'm the principal of this campus, and we're very excited for this opportunity.
My name is Michael Hines. I'm an assistant principal here, and now for our first student question.
Hi, my name is Melanie Bibian. I am a student from Sam Houston MSTC, and my question for you is, what is the most amazing thing you've seen in space?
Well, hey, first off, it is truly an honor to get to speak with you. Kjell and I are really looking forward to this. And, my brother, Mike Hines, thank you for the welcome. We really appreciate it. And we thank you for all the hard work you did putting this together. And we're really looking forward to it. I'll give the mic over to Kjell for the first answer.
Thanks, Farmer. So the most amazing thing in space, there's so many things to choose from. What an amazing environment, and to have the opportunity to float by the cupola window and to look outside and to see the absolute the beauty of our home planet, the Earth. It's hard to choose kind of that one most amazing thing, but so I'll give you two. One, the Aurora. Seeing the Aurora at night, seeing thunderstorms, lightning flashing in the clouds is absolutely incredible. And then yesterday we got to watch our friend launch on a rocket. Frank Rubio and Sergey and Dmitry joined us on the space station, launching out of Baikonur Cosmodrome. We saw that rocket launch from the ground. We could see the motors light up, and we could follow it, see its contrails cast a shadow. It was absolutely amazing. It gives me goosebumps just to think about it.
My name is Juan Hernandez, and I am a student at Sam Houston MSTC. My question is, what inspired you to become an astronaut?
Hey, that's a great question, and I think we actually have a common story with this one, and maybe it's our age, but for me it was the first space shuttle launch. Watching that thing was absolutely phenomenal. I grew up even long before that, knowing that I loved airplanes and I wanted to be a pilot. And watching that launch, and then more so the landing, I think, for me, and watching that thing come back and land like an airplane, it kind of seemed like that next step. And so I always wanted to be a pilot, and that just kind of sealed the deal that made space super, super interesting for me, and just really made me continue to drive and work hard to do the things that at least give me a chance to do an amazing job like this.
Hi, my name is Angel Barrios. I am a student at Sam Houston High School. And what do you constantly have to be mindful about while being on the space station?
That's a really interesting question, this concept of like, what do we have to be mindful about? And I think the easy and the simple answer is that we have to be mindful really about everything that we're doing up here. We are surrounded by racks of experiments and payloads and avionics equipment. If we were to run into that or bump a cord, it's very easy to break something up here. And of course, this is our home. It is fragile, and we have to take care of it so that it can take care of us. We are running experiments that people have spent their academic careers creating. And so every time that we were working on one of those experiments, we try to be very careful, understanding the hundreds, if not thousands, of hours of work that have gone into preparing that experiment for testing here in the microgravity environment. Of course, there's a balance there. We have to get work done, but I think that every day that we get to work, that we recognize that we're in a hazardous environment, that we have to take care of this space station so that it can take care of us.
Greetings, I'm Cadet Captain Science from Sam Houston High School, and one of the questions I wanted to ask you, what was the moment in your military career that made you realize all the hard work you did paid off?
Well, that is an awesome question, and I'll say, I'm in the Air Force, still am in the Air Force, been 23 years, and it's a series of those things. There's so many different achievements that that happen and that you can accomplish along the way, and all of them really make you feel like that it was worth it. But I think one of the biggest moments for me, because it was a childhood dream, like I said, I always wanted to be a pilot, and as I got a little older and I found that I liked engineering and math, being a test pilot was kind of that ultimate goal. Being an astronaut was a dream. I didn't know if that would ever happen, but I thought, being a test pilot was kind of that ultimate goal. And for me, getting that word from my squadron commander that I had been selected for a test pilot school class, just all those hours of studying and just lots of hard work, doing master's degrees, on the side of work, and, all that extra time and effort that went in, that was where I really felt, kind of vindicated in the sense that all that work finally paid off, and I kind of got to achieve what truly was a boyhood dream of mine.
Hi, Mr. Hines. I'm Abiela Garza from Sam Houston Math Science Technology Center. My question for you is, during your rocket launch, how did it feel transitioning from G-force into zero gravity?
Well, that rocket ride is absolutely amazing. Getting to feel the rocket engines light up and the G's pushing you back into your seat as you're slowly coming off of the Earth and going faster and faster. That main engine cutting off, and this brief period of this pause as then you go into the second engine starting up, and again the slow acceleration until we're accelerating so fast that we're feeling 4.5 times our body weight of G-force. And then those engines, when we've made it into orbit, those engines cut off, and there's really the sensation of being thrown forward in your seat straps because of that abrupt change in acceleration. And initially, I don't know that you really feel like you're weightless because we're strapped in so tightly, but some things are different. So we have a little pen with a lanyard on our knee board, and you start to see things like that float, and you're like, man, we're in weightlessness. And it's when you come out of your seat straps then that you start to float, and then we got to release our little zero-G indicators. We had a turtle and a monkey, and so that's a very visual indication that we are certainly in weightlessness. And then it takes a little bit of time to really get used to that sensation and to move around effectively in weightlessness.
Hello, my name is Julie Jimenez from Sam Houston MSTC, and my question to you is, how does being isolated for long periods of time affect your mental health?
Hey, that is a really good question, because it is something that's really important to us up here. Obviously, we live in these very close confines, and we work together all the time. And we're isolated, but we also have a team up here. And so I think that's one of the things that really helps for us, is that we all train together, and we know each other, and we trust each other, and so that really helps the mental health. And we know a lot about each other. We go back, and we're all good friends, and so that's really awesome. But we also have a really good connectivity. Compared to military deployments that I've been on, we're able to call home. We have an IP phone up here we can call home, and we get video conferences where we're able to talk to our families and that kind of thing. So all of that truly helps the mental health while we're up here.
Hi, my name is Jessica Molina. I go to Houston MSTC, and my question for you is, how do you keep your body strong when you're in space?
That's a really important question. Being in weightlessness for 6 months is very similar to if you just laid flat in bed for 6 months and didn't get up. The effects on the body are very similar. Your bones start to demineralize. Your muscles become small, they atrophy, and your heart does not work as efficiently. And so in space, if we don't work out, if we don't do things to stay strong, when we get back to Earth, we would be prone to passing out and having bone fractures as a result of all of these processes. So every day we spend about 2 hours exercising. We have an exercise machine called the ARED, Advanced Resistive Exercise Device. It's a universal gym-like machine that can produce up to 600 pounds of resistance using evacuated cylinders. And we do a lot of core exercises, squats, deadlift, reverse deadlift, things to really load up our skeleton, to to encourage that bone growth and to maintain muscular strength. And then to keep our hearts strong, we use either a treadmill, and so the treadmill, we have a harness that holds us down to the treadmill and reproduces about 70% of our body weight. If we didn't have that harness, we'd just go flying off. And then we also have an exercise bike, and so the crazy thing about that is there's no seat. We just hold on to handles, put on biking shoes, clip in, and start exercising. And those three things keep us in really good shape to return back to the Earth.
Hello, my name is Natalie Martinez, and I go to Sam Houston MSTC. And I was wondering, how do astronauts sleep in space?
Well, I think the short answer is very well. The great thing about sleeping up here is that there's no pressure points or anything like that. It takes a little bit of getting used to initially, but we have crew quarters that are like a small little closet where we have some of our personal items, some of our clothes, and a sleeping bag. And some of us strap our sleeping bag to the wall so we don't float around. Others leave the sleeping bag kind of free floating, and so you're floating around inside this small crew quarters there. So the nice thing is when you close the doors, there's absolutely no light. It's super quiet. It seals out all the other sounds, and it is super, super comfortable. You can see in the picture there, when you get very relaxed, your body just goes into its natural positions. And so, yeah, your hands end up floating up and out in front of you, and it looks a little bit silly, but it feels so good, and sometimes you just don't want to wake up because it feels so amazing.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth. I'm a student at Sam Houston High School. My question for you today is, what kind of training do you have to complete in order to become an astronaut?
Well, that's an interesting question. We all come from very different backgrounds. Farmer was a test pilot. I'm an emergency medicine physician, and so once we get are selected to the astronaut office, we all have to undergo a similar core of training, and so that includes space station systems, robotic arm operations, spacewalking, spacewalk training, flying in the T-38 trainer jet. This is our spaceflight training platform. And then we also all have to learn the Russian language. And we do that. We spend about 18 months to 2 years in that training curriculum just to get to the point where we graduate to become active astronauts. And once we complete that, we take jobs in the office to support our colleagues until we're assigned to a mission. And once you get assigned to a mission, then it's another about 18 months to train very specifically for that mission before you fly. So altogether, about 3.5 to 4 years before we will fly in space.
Hi, my name is Zion George. I go to Sam Houston High School. And my question to you is, who was your biggest inspiration to becoming an astronaut?
Hey, that's an interesting question for me. I didn't have any specific people really. It was more the idea of an astronaut and the things that we got to do. So I didn't have a specific person that necessarily inspired me to be an astronaut. But kind of like I said before, the kind of the follow-on of being interested in aviation and spaceflight was certainly there. But what I did have were lots of people and mentors that encouraged me along the way and told me that I could achieve these goals had I, if I really worked hard and really set my mind to it and was committed to it. And so all of those people really helped to inspire me to continue working towards big goals.
My name is Malcolm Thomas, and I'm here with the tour, an HISD showcase. And my question for you today is, how did STEM programs like those in HISD help you become an astronaut?
Great question. STEM disciplines are incredibly important. Science, physics, math, it is the language of spaceflight. It's how we get to space. And so they are critically important to having this opportunity right now. All of us in the astronaut office really studied one of those disciplines, and certainly I think in the future there will be room for other disciplines. But right now, this is the backbone of spaceflight, of how to get into space and to conduct these long duration missions. And I'm very grateful. So I did a lot of my schooling in the Department of Defense school systems while my father was stationed overseas, while our family lived overseas. And then I graduated from high school in Virginia and had a great curriculum in science and math. And I think those are things that really helped me as I went into college and prepared me ultimately for this opportunity to get to become a physician, and then ultimately to have this privilege of working as an astronaut. And so I think those disciplines are incredibly important, and it's great to see after-school programs, extracurricular programs, and focus studies areas within high schools and middle school and even elementary school to really introduce kids to those disciplines very early, to help engender a love for those disciplines and a desire to pursue those as an area of interest for hobbies or for even a career.
Hello, my name is Christian Contreras. I attend to Sept and MSTC, and I wanted to know what was your favorite math subject?
So if you talked to me a long time ago, I would have said, I don't like math. So I couldn't answer that question. But actually, I'll say going through high school and stuff like that, math was actually really hard for me. And everybody said, hey, it's the language of nature. And I was like, I just don't get it. It wasn't until I got to college and I took a differential equations class. And you may or may not know what that is right now, but that was the first time where we started doing things where we truly described nature, whether it be population growth and things like that. Just looking at models that differential equations can help describe. To me, that was like just a light bulb coming on, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. I still wasn't great at it. Like it was brute force for me to get through it. There's very little skill and intelligence, so it was just brute force and lots of studying. But it really made me appreciate it and start seeing the connection between the science classes, which I did really love. I loved physics, I loved aerodynamics, and all those other things that I got to study later on. So differential equations changed the world for me.
Hi, I'm Gabriela Rodriguez at Houston MSTC, and my question is, are you able to bring back any souvenirs from space?
Well, we have the opportunity to actually bring things with us. And so many of us, we have a small volume of personal items that we can bring with. Some will bring stuffed animals from one of their kids. We'll bring photos of family and friends. And those are treasured items that just kind of maintain that connection with our family and friends back on Earth. And so to have that opportunity to fly those things, to bring them with us, and to bring them back home is a really special opportunity.
Hello, my name is Emily Tovar. I am a 12th grader at Sam Houston MSTC in the Houston ISD district. My question for you is, what is the role that mentors played in you becoming an astronaut?
I love this question. Mentors are so important, and and they don't necessarily even have to be in the field that you're going into. That's certainly a big benefit. But mentors are the ones that that truly inspire you, that encourage you when times get hard. They're people that you can go to for help, and they are super important. I think it's also important to understand that as you're going through life and career development and things like that, and education, that not only do you have mentors, but you are also a mentor to others, whether you know it or not. And so embracing that and learning to become a mentor and be a good mentor and inspire those and encourage those that are younger than you or that are coming behind you is super important. And, I think across the board, all of us have people and that we can look back on and say, they made a difference in my life and they've enabled me to be here. And I look at our launch, pre-launch, we had a lot of people come for guests, and I look at my guest picture, and there are so many mentors across that. It was just absolutely incredible to see this this montage of my life history of all these people that influenced me and helped me get to be here. So mentors, absolutely important.
I am Cadet Second Lieutenant Jasmine Nava. I'm a student at Sam Houston MSTC, and my question is, does taking medication in space affect the body differently?
That's a really great question, and the answer is we don't know for sure. So the body changes both anatomically and physically while we're up here, and so the effects that drugs have on our body up here can be different. We also aren't entirely sure, does this spaceflight environment change the drugs themselves? Is the exposure to radiation and those things change the drugs? And then once we ingest them, once we use them, does the body react differently to those drugs? Are they as effective? And so this is, even though we've been flying for over 20 years here in the International Space Station, these are very important questions that we are still trying to figure out. And so we would love to have you or your colleagues come to NASA and study these very important questions with us as we continue to look forward to the moon here in the next few years, and then look forward to exploring Mars. These are questions that we need to answer as we embark on those journeys.
Hi, my name is Evelyn Salgado, and my question is, during your career, what were some challenges you overcame that helped you become an astronaut?
Well, I think this is a really important problem question because no matter what you're shooting for, no matter what your goals are, how high they are, you're going to encounter challenges along the way, and that resilience and building up that resilience and staying after it is super important. I myself, my initial goals of becoming a pilot were thwarted early on. I applied to the Naval Academy. I tried to go into the Navy after college, and both times things came up where I wasn't able to do that. One time I failed a vision test, and then just some other things that came up for the second one. And so those were very discouraging in the near term. But again, like we talked about with mentors and people that encouraged me that said, hey, you can still do this. And so maintaining hope and maintaining positive attitude and continuing to work towards those goals is really, really important. So just being resilient and moving on and continuing to keep your eyes set on the prize.
Thank you for everybody's time here at NASA. That was our last student question. Turtles, we're looking forward to see you soon. Godspeed.
Hey, thank you so much. It's really been an honor. Thank you, Mike, for putting this together. Really appreciate it. I love the stuffed turtle, so I appreciate that nod to my astronaut class. But it has been amazing. You guys had some awesome questions. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you all soon. Take care.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event.
Thank you to all participants. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.